This media is brought to you by Polyscope.
In the realm of tomorrow, where techniques mind, we ponder, we dream.
Good morning and welcome to Think Future. It is show number 1078. Thanks for joining us. So today we're going to talk a little bit about AI judges. Now, if you guys have been following our sister publication AIdaily.us, which is interesting AI news hand-picked for the curious mind. That's right, folks. It's all hand-picked. Even though it's read by AI readers, it's all selected by hand. There was a really interesting article about AI judges. Now, we've been talking about AI CEOs. We've been talking about AI doctors. We've been talking about all sorts of AI versions of things because you know it's coming. You know these things are coming. AI is getting to the point where it's so sophisticated that it will be starting to take away some of these jobs that some of us think are innately human. But just bear with me for a second on this. Because if you think about it, what role, and I cover this a little bit on the AI CEO's role, what role is better suited for a human and what roles are better suited for an AI? And if you think about something like the law, judging the law, my very first initial thought was that yes, it would actually be good for us to use AI judges, because one of the things that AI judges do is they do not get emotional. They do not have bias. They can't be biased because they follow the law to a T. That's the whole point of machines. That's the whole point of computers. They do not go off the reservation. They will do exactly what you tell them to. And people are funny. I mean, there's plenty of people out there who would think that, oh, the machine's doing this, the machine's doing that. No, the machine's not doing this, the machine's not doing that. It's some human back there programmed the machine to do it this way, or maybe programmed it in an erroneous way to do it this way, or you did something wrong, because everything that you put in is what you get out. So when it comes to AI, what goes into an AI judge's rule book is all of the rules, all of the laws, everything that's been delineated ahead of time. So when you ask an AI judge how to rule on a particular topic, it's obviously going to go back to precedent. It's going to go back to precedent and say, this is what we ruled before, and this is what we're going to rule now. And it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can add extenuating circumstances and all of those things, but it won't tap into the emotion of the human being. It will follow the law. This is why I think AI is really good for driving. It's exceptionally good for driving because driving is a bunch of rules. It's a bunch of rules all slapped together, right? Isn't that what driving is all about? And human beings really hate rules. Boy, do we ever hate rules. So if you ask me, one of the biggest problems we need to do is eliminate human drivers. Once we eliminate human drivers, which will happen, it'll probably 10, 20, 50 years, we'll be eliminating human drivers from the road. And we'll have AI driving us. And can you imagine what would happen then? The number of car accidents will drop precipitously because once you get humans out of the mix and you allow the AI to follow the rules, because driving is basically a set of rules with some corner cases that require human input, then we'll see a lot fewer fatalities. But when it comes to judging, it's the same thing. AI judges will follow the rule of the law, and they will not be biased by any kind of emotion. Now, if you look at human judges, sure, they take a look at the law, but it's all based on human emotion. They highly prioritize the emotional side, the human side. And if you think about it, when you go through this whole process and you just go back to the roots of law, I mean, where did law come from? What is law all about? And what law is all about is rules to help humans work with each other. So at the root of law is humans working together, right? So if humans working together is the root of law, then couldn't it be possible, isn't it possible that sometimes the law, which was codified at the time that it was codified, applied at that moment? And I've said this many times before, every moment is new. So the moment the law was codified, everything changed after that point. So the reality is that what's happening now is very different. The world that we live in today is very different from the world that was here when the law was first enacted. So on the one hand, yes, it helps us guide our decision. The law helps us guide our decision. But on the other hand, because basically what we're talking about is interconnectivity between human beings, laws are made between humans. We do not make laws for animals. We do not make laws for robots. We make laws for human beings to deal with each other. So the root of the law is human. And the fact that when some law is put into place, it's codified at that moment, and that moment is when it's legal. But as time goes by, things change, circumstances change. Everything is new. Everything is different. So should AI judges be able to highly prioritize things like precedent in law? No, because if you think about it, like I said, we are living in a completely different world. Even if a law was codified a year ago or 2 years ago, we are living in an extremely different world from the world of 2 years ago. The world changes so quickly that it's almost impossible for us to go back and use precedent as something that we use to decide upon a particular case. So really what we need is some kind of hybrid which assists the judges to make a decision, provides them with additional information that they may not be aware of in order to make a decision, but in the end, it should be a combined human-AI decision. And as we go through these various things, AI physicians, AI doctors, AI this, AI that, we probably will find is that our dream would be to throw it all towards AI and let AI handle it all. But in reality, we're going to have to pull it back, like we do many, many times, pull it back and go, you know what? This would be much better if it was a combination of human and AI. That is where we're going. I can see it for more things than you can imagine. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.
Pixels and philosophies merge and mold, a future untold, unseen.